I saw something, man, that motivated me to go live tonight because I can't believe what I just saw. I can't believe what's really going on in this world today because Joy Reid from MSNBC on the ReidOUT basically just opened Pandora's box. And this is going to be an open conversation that's going to be that we're going to have for a while because we have to understand, sometimes what the root causes are to certain things. So Joy Reid brought on her show the co-founder of, let me see here, Moms for Liberty, and the co-founder is Tiffany Justice. And basically, Tiffany Justice schooled Joy Reid. And right here, in this ear right here, her whole career is kind of like going through some, she's having a moment right now simply because there has been a revelation live on television. Now, 2024, a whole lot of the lies and misnomers and, things that is won't be and things are getting exposed. And the conversation, let me give you a little context. The conversation was about a book, okay, because Moms for Liberty, they have issues with books being accessible to elementary school kids. And I remember when I was in elementary school, there was puberty and times that we went through where they actually hid things from us until we got at an age where we really had to understand what our bodies are going through. But in this instance, these are books that are being accessible to kindergartners, first, second, third, fourth graders, well before puberty. Now, Joy Reid is a liberal Democrat, okay? She is a part of the Democratic Party. She's all of this. So we have to really understand what's really going on. And Tiffany Justice has basically provided some information. And when I say provided some information about the topic of discussion that I'm about to give it to you right now, and that's homosexuality. Now, live on television on the Joy Reid show, they literally connected the dots. They connected pedophilia, they connected childhood rape, childhood molestation, and incest as the root causes to homosexuality. And I sat there and I'm looking and I remember all of the things that's going on with the Democratic Party, and to watch a Democratic liberal show and this happens, and this is why she's sitting like this, because she's on the side of possibly promoting, this type of behavior because she supports the book. And when she brought up the LGBTQ community, and I'm sure, there is a large number of LGBTQ community members that do not want their children exposed to certain things, because we know the sooner that you expose children to things that they're not supposed to know about, they don't have power over that. So when you look at what's going on the Joy Reid show, the ReidOUT, in plain sight and living color, it basically, you have one debating, parenthood as a mom, and then you have another, and that's Joy Reid promoting an agenda. And I have to say the gay agenda. And I know that there's gay men that are parents, that do not want their children exposed to certain things. But this thing, we have to really understand what we're saying, because you are watching a Better Black America TV. And a Better Black America premise is where we seek solutions and resolutions to create a better America, because if the Black community can get their act together, then, America will actually, follow suit, because it's us, it's the souls, our souls that they want. And that soul that they want is under the cloak of democracy. So now that we understand this, is this true? Go ahead and put it in the comments. This is an open discussion that we're going to continue to have. So is homosexuality associated with childhood rape, childhood molestation, and incest? Is that the association? Because we would love to have conversations with homosexual men and allow these men to tell us their story. Okay, because as an ultra heterosexual male, I got stories beyond stories about how I was a product of my environment and it molded me to be the man that I am. So when you talk about homosexuality, now let's talk about your first experiences, because you got men walking around this planet saying that they was born a homosexual. And that is a lie, according to the Joy Reid ReidOUT show, because they are associating child rape, child molestation, and incest with homosexuality. Now, is there a homosexual man that was not violated? Talk about that. Because we know without a shadow of a doubt where it all comes from. And I did some research and I did my due diligence and I started looking up scientific proof and scientific evidence. And it's clear that the scientists and the PhDs, you know, when it comes to sexuality and our social services, and they associate this, but when it becomes political and it becomes a conversation, you know, no one wants to really be clean and clear about what's going on, because you got people coming out the closet. But we have to understand what molded you and what shaped you that way. Because if you were basically sent, you know, metaphorically speaking, you know, to the woods, to the mountains, and was raised by wolves from birth, 5 years later, we'll come to see you, and I guarantee you, you'll be walking around growling and acting like a wolf. So we have to really understand, and if we're going to move forward as a nation, then we have to be, do our due diligence and understand the root causes of a lot of things, because we're going to be having these conversations not only about sexuality, about, our political agenda, about toxicity, how certain men are so aggressive and things like that, because we have to understand the mind, because the mind controls the body. But I was flabbergasted when I saw the clip, and I went and looked at the whole video, and the whole video is approximately 12 minutes and 20 seconds. And Joy Reid got schooled by a mom who wants to protect her children because she is a believer in the nuclear family. And the nuclear family is, you got a daddy, you got a mama, and you have the children. Okay, no disrespect or no shade to, the LGBTQ community. I have members of the LGBTQ community in my family, but not one of my family members have had an issue with who I am. And not one time have I ever had an issue with who they are, because when I did my dirt as a whoremongering man, I didn't bring my business around them. And when they do whatever they do, they didn't bring it around us. But when they decided to marry, which happens to be the same sex, we love their spouse just like we love our sisters and our brothers. So listen, but the connection, because a lot of people think that you're born gay or you're born whatever. You are born male or you are born female. To keep it simple, from a child's perspective, you either have an innie or an outie. And from a scientific perspective, you're either XX or XY. Okay, now, being products of our environment, why is it that black men who are raised with their fathers typically are heterosexual males and typically are more prone to be alpha and more prone to be leaders? Okay, now, me personally wasn't raised with my father in a household, but I grew up in a time where, there was a lot of men in the community. And if they caught us walking down the street a certain way, hey, man, hey, why y'all walking like that? Man, your walk says a lot. They taught us how to be men. If we had a disturbance or issue, okay, y'all gonna have to duke it out. Okay, then y'all gonna hug each other. Now hug your brother. Okay, but when they decided to change that, and change our environment, because they saw that we was being raised right. They saw that we was being raised to be in a position to basically change the culture and to basically put the black community on a upward bound or upward mobility perspective, but they wanted the race to basically die. This is why you have a lot of blacks running around saying that they're African American. And this is why we have to abandon African American, because that's an ethnicity that is connected to the LGBTQ community car, because you choose your ethnicity over your race. When you choose your race, it's God, man, woman, and child. It's no difference. But when you abandon that, because I hear so many people from the LGBTQ community associating African Americans with their cause, because they don't realize or understand the history of the civil rights movement being hijacked by the women's lib movement and the gay movement to basically further advance their position. And now we're in 2024 and the women's movement is on 10. The gay agenda has soared, but the black community is still in broke, busted, and disgusted. Okay, and I'm talking about democratic cities where gun violence is at an all-time high, the murder rate is at an all-time high, robbery, assaults, and all of these things are at an all-time high. So when are we going to understand that we got to do our work and change the game? And what I'm saying is the reason behind A Better Black America TV is to basically focus on a particular racial group, which is the black race, and basically do the same things that all the other communities have done. If you look at the Chinese community, the Japanese community, the Jewish community, the Latino community, the white community, they are thriving. But when you talk about the black community, that's what a problem is. And we have a presidential candidate that basically says, and his last campaign slogan was build back better, meaning you got to break it all down. And now that they're building it back, it's going to basically add to another generation and a pipeline to prisons, because childhood education is at an all-time low. Inner city schools in the black community, the reading levels are subpar. And if you can't read or write, the statistics say that you're going to ultimately end up behind bars. So we have to run some type of interference and make sure that we change the game. And this is why I'm the motivation of this video, because I sat back and I watched the movie Rustin, and the man said I was born homosexual. No, he's not telling the whole story. He's not telling us that his father, an uncle, an older brother, or somebody that he loves violated him, and he's not telling the whole story, okay? Because it is fact that pedophilia, childhood rape, childhood molestation, and incest is the root cause, okay? Because the book that they're discussing talks about the same thing, and the writer is a gay man, and he talks about at a very young age that a strap-on was used to penetrate his anus. So now he's experiencing anal pleasures, and he's going to grow up and want, gay sex no matter what it is, even if he's with the female. Okay, he's going to want that. And there's a individual out there, that's basically a troll, an internet troll, that some things have come out. I'm not going to throw him under the bus because I want to talk to the brother, but he's talking about anal pleasures. Okay, he's a heterosexual male. He says he is of a wife, but there's a female saying that he asked her to stuff and put some things in his anus to pleasure him, because that's what you call gay sex. Okay, Cat Williams, let the rabbit out the hat when he was talking about what you got to do in Hollywood. And think about it. We have to really understand, because we can't move forward as a people. We can't move forward as a race if we don't handle and dismantle racial issues. Okay, the black community has racial matters on the table that must be addressed. This country will never be the country that it is unless we handle our racial matters in this election year. Okay, now black men are abandoning the Democratic Party. We're never been Republicans, so we're basically disassociating ourselves with what they call democracy, because democracy is ruled by the devil. And this is democracy right here. A black woman that's promoting a gay agenda, that's promoting a book that includes incest, pedophilia, childhood molestation, childhood rape involved with dildos. She's promoting it and trying to push that agenda and that narrative. How can we move forward as a people doing that? It's called a gay agenda, and a gay agenda is genocide in the black community, because we are the only racial group of people who are not having babies. If you look at the statistics, the black community is not having babies like the Latinos. Even the whites are basically soliciting black men to be their husbands to basically get them pregnant. We're utilizing and making babies. And if you look at the football, the mulattoes is doing their thing. There's actually a whole different race of human beings that's coming into fruition, because Willie Lynch said with a white person with some black in them, they got some game. Now look at Lamar Jackson and Mahomes over the weekend. So that's, we could talk about it, put it in the comments. But listen, we have to have this conversation, man. We have to have this conversation. There's no way we can continue on as a nation and not address these matters, okay? Because we're dealing with what we would say, God or the devil. And those who say it's not the devil, it is the devil, okay? Because even what is his name? Little Richard said, and he was clearly a homosexual cross-dresser, wore makeup back in the day. They asked him about his sexuality. He clearly said God made Adam and Eve and not Adam and Steve. So your sexual preference is your business. It does not trump the race. So what I'm suggesting, that whatever you do, just do what you do. Don't promote it. Don't put it out there, because it's not going to help us and it's not going to help you. Because like I said, as a born again, whoremongering man that used to be out there, you've never seen me or got me on record saying, you need to have, a basketball team of women. You got to have your starting five, and then you got to have backup. You know what I'm saying? And you don't leave them, you replace them. I ain't say none of that, because I knew God knows all, God sees all. And this nation is a republic. It's not a democracy. To the republic for which it stands, one nation under God. It's not a democracy. Democracy is ruled by the devil, and it's the Democratic Party, the lost cause that lost the Civil War, that's promoting an agenda of democracy. This is why they're going to be seeking the soul of black people in America, because they already got her soul, and they're going to say that this race is for the soul of America. So we cannot allow this to happen. So basically, I'm throwing Joy Reid under the bus. Joy Reid, live on television, brought it to our attention that homosexuality, the root cause, is associated with incest, pedophilia, childhood rape, and childhood molestation. And Joy Reid from MSNBC basically confirmed it. And then I looked up the scientific proof, and every document that I saw from an Ivy League perspective said that it's 99.9% factual. Okay? Factual. So what are we doing? What are we doing? So now that we have to address this matter, I'm just basically saying, like I said, ye without sin cast the first stone. I'm not throwing any stones, but we just need you to stop promoting an agenda that's going to create genocide to your people. Okay? This is what we're doing. We don't want this. Planned Parenthood was a part of the eugenics movement to basically castrate and stop the reproduction and the growth of the black race here in America. Margaret Sanger is on record talking to Lyndon B. Johnson, getting the funding for Planned Parenthood. She said, President, there's a Negro problem. Negroes is having babies 6 to 2. And if we don't get in front of this, you know what that's going to mean. So what I'm saying here, in an election year, and 4 being the number of cultural freedom, we have to choose freedom. And if it's our moment in time to overpopulate as a black race, that's what we got to do as a people. Because you wonder why the Democratic Party wants an open southern border, because the statistics say that the blacks are leaving the party in groves. The black man vote, the Latino vote is basically gone. Okay, so all of these migrants that's coming in, they're bringing them in. The black women who have basically, they look at as bedwitch and concubines and prostitutes for the party, they're basically, embedded in the Democratic Party. But the black man and the Latino man, they're out. And I'm saying they're out because I never was in democracy, okay? Because we're going to do something different this year. We're going to have a write-in candidate, and I will share this with you down the road, but there's no way we could continue on this axle. And to confirm that blacks and Latinos, because African American, that includes, they're embedded in the Democratic Party, just like the LGBTQ community and all of that. So, they basically gave up their racial rights, but there has to be somebody fighting for the group, fighting for the race, because, we got some work to do. Because even Obama said it himself, we're not there yet. We got a lot of work to do, and we're going to do it, but we can't do it in support of an ethnicity. Our race matters, and ethnicity is caked in with feminism, with the gay movement, with the women's live movement, which includes the Jewish people, all of that. That's when it comes to African American. But when you talk about race, we got to get our gold medal, okay? Because the white man got the silver, the Asian, the Mongolian got the bronze, and they both work together to make sure we don't be champion. And this year, we're going to be champion because we cannot support American democracy. American democracy is basically like blacks funding and putting money into the Bloods and the Crips. That's stupid. It's the same thing. They're enemies, they war, they kill, but we have to denounce the whole gang banging, just like we got to denounce democracy to end it. Because with gangs, we got a solution. And I got this from, a big bro that I will call, not, brother from another mother, is Lonzo from the Wrecking Crew. And we work with Cease for Peace. And there's a documentary that's going to be coming out called Put the Guns Down. And we're basically trying to make and have conversations to make the gangs fraternal, like fraternities. So they won't kill each other anymore. They can compete through sports. They could compete through, low riding and doing the culturalistic things, but we have to put the guns down. We have to, cease for peace, and we have to change as a nation. We cannot continue on the same axle. Just like our two-tier government, it's like Bloods and Crips. Barack and, listen, man, he brought some things into fruition that, he did what he had to do, which is understandable. And a lot of times, they bring you in, as a political plant, things like that. But moving forward, there's no way we can continue as a nation with a two-tier government that we do have. Because if you look at the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, these guys war against each other. It's no different than Bloods and Crips. It's no different from warring nations, but they do it under the banter of democracy. So democracy must die in 2024 because democracy is ruled by the devil, okay? And the Democratic Party, the party of slavery, that's the root cause. And this is why they vote and support legislation for prisons and crime bills and things of that nature. So there's no way we can continue. But now that we understand root causes, we're going to continue to have these conversations because Joy Reid has associated childhood rape, childhood molestation, incest with the involvement of dildos and strap-ons, basically anal pleasure to children way before puberty by somebody that they know and somebody that they're close to. And it was on the ReidOUT show. And I can't believe that MSNBC allowed it to happen, but I guarantee you it was live television. They didn't think it was going to go that way because look at her face. Look at her face. She got schooled. She got schooled by Tiffany Justice, the co-founder of Moms for Liberty. And these are white women that want their children to basically continue on with the legacy of the nuclear family. So now that homosexuality is connected to incest and childhood rape and all of that, why don't you guys chime in and put your comments in the comment section. Be honest, because like I said, somebody touched you, somebody changed you. Maybe you don't remember, but you're not born a homosexual. No, you're not. You're not born gay. You're born male or female, and that's it. So with that being said, man, I'm just going to be more aggressive when it comes to the lives because a better Black America TV is a better America for all. And Black is an acronym for Black, Latin, Asian, Caucasian, kinsmen. We just got to destroy and handle racial matters in this nation. That's what we got to do. And the only way we can destroy racial matters in this nation is to champion the black race, so this nation can be a republic in which it is. To the republic for which it stands, one nation under God. It's not a democracy. And when the Democrats sit back and say it's a threat to our rule of law, yes, it's a threat to demonic rulership. And demonic rulership is ruled by the devil. It's that simple. It's either God or the devil. With that being said, man, thanks for tuning in to A Better Black America TV Live. And Joy Reid spilled the beans. So I'm just a messenger. She associated on her show homosexuality with childhood rape, childhood molestation, incest, and involving of anal penetration on boys with, physical as well as dildos. Joy Reid, don't get mad at me, get mad at her. With that being said, man, keep tapping in, hit those likes, hit those subscribes. We're going to keep it going. A Better Black America TV. I'm your man, Bouchon Glover. Peace out.